Welcome to the first addendum to the IATA Dangerous Goods Regulations, the 64th edition. In this presentation, I'm going to highlight the changes and amendments to the current manual. Could you have an alternative interpretation or clarification? Please leave your contributions in the comment section. Thank you. So I want us to remember that this document called the addendum is a legally binding document. So you have to always refer to it in the process of preparing dangerous goods, because in case you don't meet any of the requirements as given to you in the addendum, you're not going to have any excuse. As I said, that this is a legally binding document. So always find means to access the addendum. Right here, we have the first one, and you never know, we could have a second one, a third, and a fourth addendum. And in that case, maybe if we have a third addendum by June, we shall be referring to 3 addenda. So always keep the count. Yeah, this was posted on the 15th December 2022, and it was effective 1st January 2023. Let's read the opening remarks. Users of the IATA Dangerous Goods Regulations are asked to note the following amendments and corrections to the 64th edition effective from 1st January 2023. Where appropriate, changes or amendments to existing text have been highlighted in yellow if you're making reference to a PDF copy, or gray if you're making reference to a hard copy, to help identify the change or amendment. How about those using the electronic copies? So if you're making reference to the electronic copies, as IATA makes these changes and amendments, the electronic copy updates itself automatically. That's why you're not taken care of in brackets here. So let's look at the new or amended state variations. These are in section 2.8.2 of the Dangerous Goods Regulations. And they're telling us that Switzerland has amended its state variation Charlie Hotel Golf 03. And the amendment is in change of the postcode. Initially, it was 13003, but now it is 3003. Take note of that. And then we also have new or amended operator variations in section 2.8.4. In 2.8.3.4, which is the list of operators who have filed variations with IATA, they're telling us that after Turkish Airlines, we have Uganda Airlines. So if you're looking at your hard copy right now, just go through the list, and where you have Turkish Airlines, we have Uganda Airlines coming immediately after Turkish Airlines. We have an amendment for operator Neospa. This is an Italian airline. And they're telling us that under operator variation November Oscar 01, we had a statement which read as lithium-ion batteries and lithium metal cells and batteries, UN 3480 and UN 3090, section 1A and section 1B of packing instructions 965 and 968. So we had a statement which followed and is cancelled now, including those approved by an appropriate authority under special provisions A88 or A99 will not be accepted for carriage as cargo. So before UN 3481 and UN 3091 were not accepted to be carried as cargo. But now, according to the changes we have here, UN 3481 and UN 3091, Section 1 and Section 2 of those packing instructions are permitted with prior approval. So if you want to know where to obtain prior approval, write to this email address given to us. That takes us to another airline, SF Airlines. This is a Chinese cargo airlines. And we get to know that operator variation 0302. Now, I hope you know that these operator variations are written in alphanumeric characters, which means we have a combination of alphabetical and numerical characters. Just like in this case, we have O and then we have a number 3. So let's see what changed. There 0302 was reading, dangerous goods shipments transported by SF Airlines will only be accepted when prepared in accordance with the applicable regulations and requirements of the state of origin, transit, and destination. Except, so this is how we trade originally, except for packing instruction 965, 970, section 2, lithium battery and dry ice transported, other dangerous goods shall be declared to SF Airlines and be replied in 7 working days before transportation. The restriction here, accepted, section 2, lithium battery and dry ice. But right now, there's no exception. So the new statement reads, all dangerous goods shall be declared to SF Airlines and be replied in 7 working days before transportation. So they don't have an exception anymore. There was also an amendment to the telephone number. As you can see, they have added 0 right here. Initially, it was +86 755, but now it's +86 0755 234 50551. We also have an additional email address. Initially, they had 1 email address, but now they have a second email address. There was also an amendment to 0303. And here we can see an amendment to the word packaging, which is amended from packaging to packagings. They also have a new operator variation, which is 0304. And this is how it reads. In instances where the application of lithium battery mark is not required as per the exceptions in section 2 of packing instruction 967 and packing instruction 970, the lithium battery mark shall still be applied when the shipment is to be transported by SF Airlines. What does that mean? So let me give you an example of one of the referenced packing instructions, and that is 967. If right now you're looking at your hard copy, I want you to come with me to packing instruction 967. Under additional requirements for section 2, we have several paragraphs, but I want to bring your attention to the 4th paragraph, which starts with each package must be durably and legibly marked. At the end of that paragraph, we have a closing sentence, which says, the application of the lithium battery mark does not apply to packages containing only batteries installed in equipment, including circuit boards, or consignments of 2 packages or less, where each package contains no more than 4 cells or 2 batteries installed in equipment. As you can see in this packing instruction here, we have an exception. But when it comes to the airline right here, SF Airlines, they do not consider the exception as given to us in the regulation. So to them, the lithium battery mark shall be applicable at all times, when required, of course. Okay. So basically, there's no exception as given to us in packing instruction 967. All right, so that takes us to the next operator variation, which is Qantas Airways. This is the national airline for Australia. Let's see what amendments they have. QF02, and the amendment is seen in the reference. Initially, they made reference to 2.3.5.6, but now that reference is cancelled out and the reference is 2.3.5.5. That takes us to the next operator, and this is Qatar Airways. So for Qatar Airways, as you can see, they had a restriction on lithium metal batteries contained in equipment and lithium metal batteries packed with the equipment. Which restriction was that these two types of lithium metal batteries were not accepted for carriage on Qatar Airways passenger flights. But they had accepted themselves from this restriction, meaning that if Qatar Airways was transporting or shipping company materials, they would, or they have been transporting them on passenger flights. So right now, according to the amendment right here, also Qatar Airways has to meet the requirement for QR04, whereby they should also not transport company materials, shipments on passenger flights operated by QR. I hope that is clear. And then also, lithium battery powered temperature loggers are permitted with prior approval. So this one stays. There's nothing changing in this statement right here. All right, so that takes us to the next operator, Aeroflot. The next operator is a Russian airline. And then we see we have an amendment in operator variation SU04, whereby they've cancelled out the entire operator variation. And they say SU04 is not used. Let's see what it reflected. Cargo agents, as well as freight forwarders accepting or processing dangerous goods for transport by air, must ensure that they have IATA Category 6 dangerous goods certified staff available to handle such consignments. Does this mean that now they don't require trained staff? No, not. They still require trained staff to handle dangerous goods shipments. However, the Category 6 is not applicable anymore because effective 1st January 2023, all training schools, providers have now adopted the competence-based training and assessment approach. So we no longer make reference to categories when it comes to dangerous goods training. All right, so let's see. We have a new entrant here. We have Uganda Airlines. We've already been notified on the list that Uganda Airlines is new. So now here they give us the operator variations filed by Uganda Airlines. So if you're going to ship dangerous goods from Uganda, Uganda is in East Africa. That's where I'm born, raised, and educated. If you're shipping dangerous goods from Uganda, you're supposed to consider restrictions filed by Uganda Airlines so that you comply with them. Remember, this is an operator. Uganda Airlines is an operator. These are not state variations. That means that if you're going to ship dangerous goods on a different airline, you're not supposed to go and make reference to Uganda Airlines. Okay, I know that it's obvious. Okay, so as we can see, Uganda Airlines has filed 7 operator variations. As you can see, UR07 is the last one. Okay, so that takes us to the next operator. This is WY, this is WY, and this is the Oman Air, the national airline of Oman. They've canceled out operator variation WY03. It's not in use. It previously stated that class 7 radioactive materials in any form will not be accepted for carriage. What does that mean? It means that Oman Air now accepts class 7 radioactive materials in any form for carriage. We also have Oman Air operator variation WY04, which is also not in use. Previously, it read, dangerous goods in limited quantities will not be accepted for carriage, except for ID 8000, consumer commodity, and UN 1266, perfumery products with flammable solvents. Okay, that one also is not in use for now. Finally, their operator variation WY05 is also cancelled out. It's not in use, which was reading as dangerous goods in accepted quantities will be accepted for carriage only with prior approval as per WY01. Now I guess they don't require prior approval to ship dangerous goods in accepted quantities. Okay, that takes us to the last operator. We have Lian Ekodwa. This one comes from Quito, Ecuador, and they're telling us that they have a new operator variation, which is XL12. This means that when you look at the hard copy of the Dangerous Goods Regulations, the operator variations for this airline are going to end at XL11. It's only if you have Addendum 1 that you're going to see this requirement. So imagine if you do not have a copy of Addendum 1, you're going to miss out on this additional restriction for the airline when preparing shipments to be carried by that very airline. So take note and always have a copy of the addendum and use it in addition to what the hard copy has for you. All right, so let's go through this since you don't have it in the hard copy. It says, consignments of UN 3090, I'm reading XL12. Consignments of UN 3090 lithium metal batteries prepared in accordance with section 1A and 1B of packing instruction 968 must not have total net weight greater than 140 kilograms, and an overpack must not have a total net weight greater than 70 kg. That takes us to section 3. Page 180, they made revision to note in 3.6.1.1 as shown. So 3.6.1.1 has the definition. We shall draw our attention to the note. And on the note, they have added UN 3462. Okay. So that takes us to section 4. In section 4, we do have two UN numbers, 1950 and 2249, respectively. And here we need to draw attention to column November, which is the last column. And we get to know that there is an amendment to the ERG code. ERG stands for Emergency Response Guidebook. So we have codes always given to us in this column, which codes are very, very important for the pilot in command, because they have to use it in case of any in-flight emergencies. So let's see. 10CP. Now 10 is a drill number. These are drill numbers, and drill numbers help us understand the inherent risk to aircraft, risk to occupants, spill or leak procedure, firefighting procedure, and additional considerations. Us meaning the pilots. Okay. So we have those drill numbers, and then what was amended were the drill letters. For UN 1950, we have 10 Charlie Papa. Charlie is for corrosive. The additional risk is corrosive for Charlie, and the additional risk for Papa is toxic. So initially we had only corrosive, but now we have toxic as an additional risk. And for UN 2049, initially we had 6 Lima. We had 6 Lima. Lima is for other risk as low or none. So each time you saw L after the drill number, it was reflecting other risks to be low or none. But now that has shifted from low or no risk to F, and F is flammable. So basically that is what we have for section 4, table 4.2. Let's look at 4.4, giving us special provisions. Page 414, amend special provision A111 as follows. Okay, so when it comes to this statement here, as we can see, it has been rewritten for clarity. So just take time and read, then you'll get to know that the statement has been rewritten for clarity. The statement, the sentence cancelled up here has been brought at the end of the paragraph. That takes us to section 5. Section 5, as you can see, they're referring us to page 467, where we have an amendment to parking instruction Y203. Each time you see a parking instruction with prefix Y, that parking instruction is applicable to dangerous goods in limited quantities. Let's see which was amended here. As you can see under the note, we do have a sentence, non-refillable. So the word metal has been cancelled out, so it reads non-refillable aerosols. Still to that parking instruction, we do have another added table, which is giving us total weight per package for UN 1950 aerosols flammable, UN 1950 aerosols non-flammable, and UN 2037. We move on. Each time you see ellipses, these 3 dots here, you need to know that that is an intentional omission of a word, sentence, or whole section. So if you need to get a full interpretation, each time you see dots, go ahead and read in depth. So we have some information which is intentionally omitted. So that's what you should know. Okay, so we have page 647 giving us an amendment to Parking Instruction 970. And under additional requirements for section 2, they've added a new reference, which is 5.0.2.12.1. Okay, so they've just given us an additional reference. That takes us to section 8. In section 8, we have an amendment in 8.1.6.9 under nature and quantity of dangerous goods, and specifically under step 5. So someone could be wondering, why should they give us these paragraphs that they've not made changes to within the text? For example, we have some information here, but then the changes were effected to step 5. Now, all this information before and after the affected paragraph, yeah, help you quickly identify where the changes and amendments were made. So it's like a leading guide for you to easily identify the areas where we have these changes and amendments. So here, as you can see, previously, this word is written as note, but now we have notes, simply because we had one note and now we have 2 notes. Let's see what the new note reads. Until 31st March 2023, shippers may continue to use UN 1169 with the proper shipping name extracts, aromatic, liquid, and UN 1197 with the proper shipping name extract, flavoring, liquid, as shown in the 63rd edition of these regulations. So they are giving us a grace period. Remember, when you look at the 64th edition, the hard copy right now, I keep referring to the hard copy because the electronic copy is usually updated as these addenda come in. So if you go to the electronic copy, the update is going to be there. For you to note the change, if you're looking at the hard copy, you'll easily see that there is a difference in the way information is given. So in this statement here under note 2, they're telling us that we can ship extract aromatic, liquid under UN 1169. And the deadline is 31st March 2023. Effective 1st April 2023, we have to use UN 1197. The note further states that you must use either the 63rd edition or the 64th edition. Don't mix up these requirements. For example, don't go to the 63rd edition and pick out UN 1169 and then go to the 64th edition and pick up proper shipping name extracts, flavoring, liquid. So if you're going to use the 63rd edition, stick to that. And if you're going to use the 64th edition, stick to that. And at the end of that paragraph, they say the marks applied to packages and overpacks, when applicable, must be consistent with the information shown on the shipper's declaration. Okay. Now, as I told you prior, that they'll always give you information before the changes and after the changes, simply for you to easily trace where the changes and amendments were done. So let's ignore this part here and go to the appendices. Now, when it comes to the appendices, we have amendments made to Appendix D, specifically D.1. Now, in Appendix D, we do have competent authorities. And when it comes to D.1, we have a list of those competent authorities who have given us their addresses for contact purposes, of course, when it comes to shipping dangerous goods of classes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. I hope you noticed that I didn't count 7. When it comes to radioactive materials, we are supposed to check out with D.2. Now, according to the addendum right here, we get to know that Iceland has changed its competent authority address from the cancelled one to Operations Inspector, Flight Operations and Licensing Section. And this is what you need to refer to when it comes to contacting competent authorities in Iceland for all dangerous goods other than Class 7. Then we also have Thailand, which has also given us a new address. They've cancelled out the previous address for the competent authorities. And now we have Head of Dangerous Goods Standards Division, and these are the contact details. Still, the changes have been made to dangerous goods classes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. We skipped 7 because they have a different address, a different competent authority for class 7. Finally, we look at the checklist. We get to know that there was an amendment to number 20, to statement 20 of the checklist for non-radioactive shipments. As you can see, they've added A176, A224, A225. Let us look at the actual checklist and see. This is a 2023 dangerous goods checklist for a non-radioactive shipment. So basically, if you're looking at the earlier distributed checklists for this year, you won't see the changes, which I'm going to show you. But what you need to do, get a pen or pencil and do what I'm going to tell you right here. Go to authorizations under number 20. As you can see, we have a list. Check all verifiable special provisions, the special provisions number A1. So we have a list, but this list has been amended. Where we have A130, comma, add A176, comma, A190, A191, A201, A202, comma, A211, comma, A212, comma, add A224, special provision A224, comma, and also add special provision A225, comma, and this is the last one. So please, if you don't include special provision A176, A224, and A225, simply because they are not included on your checklist, that is going to be wrong. Because we are supposed to refer to the information given to us in the addendum. This is why I am asking you right now to make those changes so that you don't forget. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, the addendum is a legally binding document, and you do not have any excuse if you wrongly prepare a shipment without referring to the addendum.